screen.
Yep,
And you've got our good side, right?
all of them.
I knew it. I knew it. Okay.
I'll be behind you. Look at your good side.
Okay, meeting called to order, please rise. Salute the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call members, please.
Councilmember Maury,
Here.
Councilmember Hunter,
Here.
Councilmember Moore,
Aye.
Supervisor Champlain,
Here.
and Councilmember Rochester's absent.
Okay. Welcome a motion to approve the meeting minutes of June 13th, 2023.
The only thing I saw as an edit is that the food truck date, I think, was the 25th instead of the 26th. Other than that, I think it's fine.
Okay. Was that my report? Yeah, it was in my report, right?
Yep, that was the only thing I saw.
Okay. Well, this is minor, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, we need a motion to approve.
Did you make the motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve with that change, please.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay. Welcome, folks. This is for presentations, petitions, communications, and general question period for the people here in the audience. If you want to address the board, please rise and state your name and address, and please try to limit it to 3 minutes.
Now, I have a question. If I have a statement that I want to speak on, like a topic like solar systems, would that be okay if I speak on that rather than just like a question?
No, that's fine, as long as it's, try to keep it limited to 3 minutes, and for the people that are watching on the camera, I know who you are, but
Yes.
please state your name and address.
Matthew Cooper at 504 Perry Mills Road.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, some of you might know me, but for those who might not, I am a member of the zoning board. I'm not one to speak in front of groups, but it would go against my moral compass if I did not express my concerns about the recent influx of community solar projects that are being proposed. A feeling of unease has been nagging at me for the past few months as I've been digging into solar systems, their business models, and related topics. And I hope that sharing the research I've done will lead you to a similar conclusion, that we need to take a step back from community solar projects and reevaluate how we approach renewable energy. I want to start by saying I'm not against renewable energy sources, nor am I completely against solar systems. I'm just against how these projects are being promoted and the business models these specific projects use, because in my eyes they're not community solar. Now, as with anything, the definition is probably in order. U.S. Department of Energy defines community solar as any solar project or purchasing program within a geographic area in which the benefits of the solar project flow to multiple customers, such as individuals, businesses, nonprofits, and other groups. But they provide more context, stating that community solar is a form of solar energy generation that allows community members of all types to access meaningful benefits of renewable energy, including reduced energy costs, low to moderate income household access, increased resilience, community ownership, and equitable workforce development and entrepreneurship. And I feel like this additional explanation is very important because it shows a difference between the technical definition of community solar and the spirit of the term. And with that, I just would like to go through those points on the current proposal that is being done by Solar Power Network LLC. On increased resilience, I don't think this needs to be used as an evaluation of community solar. Because, yes, community solar does provide resilience, but other solar systems can do that. And then USDE also used that as an example, as a building having a solar system to provide the same type of resilience. As far as community ownership, a document by the USDE, the National Renewable Energy Laboratory in Berkeley Lab, explained that not all community solar projects are community owned. But I think that's what imparts the largest difference. This means that although projects which are owned by a third party or utility are technically placed under the umbrella term community solar, they do not meet that specific requirement of that second contextual definition of including community ownership in its benefits. Additionally, this document also notes that third-party ownership is the lowest form of ownership structure for these kinds of projects in regard to economic benefit, whereas community-owned are the highest. Locally owned community solar projects, as referenced in that document, have 2.8 times greater job impact and 3.4 times greater economic impact. Meaning if we want to promote community solar, we should then at least focus on the kinds that are going to give us the best economic benefits per acre use. On equitable workforce development and entrepreneurship, I'd like to refer to a project that was announced in June of 2020, which was a 240 megawatt solar facility in the town of Canton. The Watertown Daily Times published an article citing a statement by the project developer sharing that only 300 people would be employed at the peak of that project's construction, and only 4 will be permanently employed once the project is in operation to keep the arrays working. The current proposal is a 20th of the size. So if you take 300 divided, that's like 15 people, and 4 for permanent, divide that by 20, maybe have 1 person as a permanent employee for this type of project here. Regarding projects that have been brought to the zoning board, I've seen people from East Syracuse, Schenectady, Rochester, Albany. Some of these places are 5.5 miles away. The only place I've really seen from around here is RMS in Plattsburgh. So maybe they're renting construction equipment and hiring some labor, but all of that only lasts so long until construction ends. And while we're on the topic of construction equipment, it's worth pointing out that the last year's proposal that they did in December uses the same amount of equipment, even though this project is double the size. Companies such as Nexamp and Solar Network LLC typically have a complete, full solution for completing these projects. Nexamp notes they're a full-service engineering, supply chain, and construction operation with in-house design and development, civil, electrical, and mechanical engineering, and so on. Now, I'm not sure what Power Network LLC has, but they claim to have a complete solution as well for many of the same aspects of project construction, connection, and engineering. And so it makes me think that they have everyone they already need to get the job done and work with certain companies to be more cost effective. Low to moderate income household access. When I talk about this, I'm going to group it with reduced energy because there's no meaningful benefit to having low to moderate income household access for these projects without having reduced energy costs. And there are 2 business models I've seen, but I'm only going to focus on one of them, which is the subscriber model. It's the one I've seen only brought up in these proposals, and it's the one that I've only seen on NICE8's webpage on distributed energy generation. Their explanation is as follows. Through a subscription, residential and business customers can join to receive monthly credits and electricity generated at the facility without the need to install and maintain equipment on your property. And it also mentions savings of around 5 to 10%, although I've seen marketing material as high as 20%. And that makes it a seemingly low barrier of entry for individuals wanting to use solar, but it can have major effects on how people are able to budget. Now, people have fixed incomes, people have variable incomes, And with expenses, it's the same thing. You have fixed rent and variable, or fixed expenses and variable expenses. The thing with variable expenses is that it allows you for some wiggle room to be able to adjust your budget as needed. But it can also go the other way. Now, I'm going to mention or bring up a piece of feedback that was given by someone, a customer of Nexamp, which is one of the companies that proposed to build a solar system here. It was someone who had a $450 bill, and they were blindsided. Nexamp had said that generally you can expect subscribers to expect larger invoices with periods of summer solar generation. Sun's at its strongest, our solar farms produce more energy credits that can be applied in the winter. And because of that seasonality, the 20% savings can be seen as annual savings. It makes sense, but what you're essentially doing is paying for electricity you haven't used yet up front at a discount. And that's great when you have some extra money to spend on that, but not for someone who is expecting to save 5 to 10% on their electric bill. The worst part is that people don't know how much they're actually going to owe every month because it's determined by the weather. So you're going to have to hope for more rainy days and sunny ones if you want to have a lower electric bill. And for anyone who has heat, NY Sun notes that you can't use heat benefits to cover that cost. And so with this, these specific solar systems do not provide reduced energy costs, meaningful beneficial low to moderate income household access, community ownership, or equitable workforce development and entrepreneurship. They, can I skip some of this? They provide many other things that they propose as benefits. But in reality, they basically just want to use our land. Now, they say things like generating electricity or without utility water supply needs, and that's just to say that they're not going to be a burden, but they're still here and they can take up land that could be used for other things. If we want to keep the trees on this parcel, we could work to do that. The area is zoned for residential, which makes a lot of sense. It's right next to a school, it's right next to a golf course, and it runs right along a walking, biking path for parents and their kids to feel safe walking or riding their bikes. If we want to consider increasing our tax base or promoting development there, we can look at ways to do that, but by allowing a company to purchase not just 40 acres for the project, but roughly 119 acres, that's almost 9 football fields, or 2,274 single-family homes, then you're essentially locking out any possibility that anyone from the community will be able to purchase or develop that land for 25 years or even more. They can hold on to that land for as long as they want, and they won't care because they're not from here. Solar Power Network LLC is a global company based in Canada and Japan, and Nexamp is a national company based, well, with its only sole location in New York and New York City. For most of these companies, that parcel is another asset on a financial statement, but for someone around here, it could be a place to build a home. You can make a park or anything else other than a solar farm. And in their proposal, they also had put a letter that listed that Lot 4 will be reserved for future residential development. But I wouldn't trust that coming from a company whose business name is literally called Solar Power Network LLC. They're just not in the market for developing houses. They're in the market for developing large-scale solar. They also list things like air quality, developing local energy sources, promoting local jobs, which I already discussed, and diversifying the energy supply. But a lot of that doesn't really mean much if there's not benefit to the community. There's other ways to diversify the energy supply. There's other means of renewable energy, and there are other types of solar, community solar projects that have a lot more benefit than the ones that are coming to our area. Now, I think that the term community solar to describe these specific types of solar systems is disingenuous, because by NYSERDA's requirements, you only need 10 people.
You're gonna need to really wrap that up, and I'm
Okay.
sorry.
That's okay.
You're like 10 minutes over at least.
Oh. It's okay.
15, actually.
Basically, they don't need that many people to be considered a community solar project, and they were never meant to be community solar. Because NYSERDA basically says there's two different types. If you're above 5 megawatt AC, you're large scale, and your primary purpose is to just pump out wholesale credits.
So I'd like to comment to some of your points.
Yeah.
I don't want to turn this into a debate or discussion, but one, when it comes to community solar, that is not anything that we have in our solar law that defines what we allow in regards to solar.
Yes.
That is regards to NYSERDA, so you'd have to take that up with the state of New York, because they're the ones who define what community solar means. As far as the comments that you made in reference to some of the billing, I belonged to the community solar at Robinson's for several years, and that never
Yeah.
happened, so I'm not sure where they're getting that.
Really?
We just see a small discount every bill, and it's clean and simple. So I'm not sure what that's about, but that may be a specific company-related issue. In regards to them staying there forever, well, they're gonna be here for 25 years and they'll hold on to land forever, that is not true. In our solar law, they have to have a decommissioning plan. At the end of their term, it must be returned to farmland. I'm not saying that, I'm just
Fine.
debuting your points here. And as far as other means of green energy, well, what will we do if we have wind turbines going on? It's the same type of thing. I agree that it could be someday, it could be something as nice as housing development. You're still gonna clear the trees. I think that's probably 20 years out. I'm struggling to try to get 28 homes built, let alone 240. Those are just my points I wanna make. I'm not taking a stand on this either way, but I'm sorry, I felt compelled to
No, you're good.
rebuff that, or redo that, whatever the term is.
Oh, I appreciate it.
Okay, thank you.
I have a couple questions. My name is Cindy Minette. I live on the Mason Road in Champlain.
Hello.
My first two questions, since he brought up solar, this amendment 130 in the zoning law, why was the community not allowed to vote on this amendment?
Because it was board generated, it was not a petition from the community. So all that's required by New York State law, whenever we make any law, like tonight we'll be revising something as well. It's a board voted decision. There was a public hearing. It was, even there was a public hearing in the moratorium as well, wasn't there? And it has to be published in the paper. It has to be a public meeting. People can attend. We had people attend the moratorium public hearings as well. It does not have to be voted on by the public.
But do you not serve the public? I
We
mean,
do,
we are
but-
the
but
public,
we-
you are essentially working for us, we pay your salary with our tax dollars. We should have been more clearly informed, we should have been given the right to vote on this, and anything as major as this, I don't necessarily
you
think
would-
that I'm speaking, I don't think we necessarily need to be
Sorry.
allowed to vote on minor issues, but this is a major issue for this area. And this is something that should have been put to a vote for the community.
I'm sorry, we're following New York State laws.
You can be as sorry as you want, that's fine. I'm sorry too that I voted for you. I'm completely sorry
Well,
that I did.
what we did was better than what we had. We had nothing. So if we had not done that, the boards, both the planning and the zoning, had not, that's how the solar farm ended up across from Price Chopper. They had nothing to guide them, no law, no criteria, so they did the best they could to muddle through and ended up allowing that, that's fine. That solar law at least gives solid criteria and conditions that are required for a solar farm to go in, and certain areas and distances are limited.
I understand the concept of the law and why it's important. That's not even my question. My question is, we the people are the people that you are supposed to be serving, and you're supposed to be doing it in our best interest. It can't be in our best interest if we're not allowed to vote on it.
Okay, I'm not sure how to answer that other than it's not the way it works for local laws. You are not.
It's the way it needs to work for local law.
Okay, so if we were to do that, we would have to call in the county election board to run a special election, or a special vote, I should say. And it would cost tax dollars to do that. It would add to the cost. I don't even know if you can do that. Like I said, this is under New York State town law.
New York State town law, you said?
Town law.
New York State town law. Okay, anyway, I have another question. On the second page, your move to approve an IT contract with Layer 8, what is that?
That's for our technology, for our computers, et cetera, our email.
Okay. One other question, and then I'll sit down and be quiet and behave myself. How many solar farms are proposed for this area, and what are their locations?
Let's see, there's one approved on Mason Road.
Yes, I live there, and I'm
One
willing to serve.
approved on Route 11, right near Rouse's Point.
That's the Sharp, near Sharp?
Near Sharp.
Yes.
The old dump on 276, that one's completed as well, right?
I don't think so.
That's not done yet.
Are you aware that the old dump on Route 276 is a toxic waste dump?
That,
There was an indictment against Harris Graphics for dumping 200,000 gallons of toxic waste in that property.
no, that's the old Champlain landfill up here.
No, it's not. No, sir, it's not. It's the Bedard property on 276.
Well, that's not my
It's in
concern.
the
I don't own
new,
the
well, it
property.
will be your
Because I
concern
own
if you
the
put a
property.
solar farm there. Anyway, continue, 276, that's the third
So
one.
that's a DEC question, because the DEC approved
DEC is
that.
aware of it, they're prepared to respond.
Okay.
Anyway, moving on, the next one after that.
This one here. And
This
that's
one
it.
here,
That's
where are you
the-
pointing?
The one that he was referring to on
The
Hayford
Hayford Road?
And that is the last one that I know of at this point.
I was informed that there's possibly one going on the West Service Road.
And I believe that one has been turned around. They have decided not to.
So with the two that are already in existence, you're planning 1, 2, 3, 4 more?
Please let me correct you, we're not planning these.
Well, that's what's in the works. That's what the solar companies want, 4 more? For a total of 6?
I guess that's where we're at, yes.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Okay. There's nothing further, we'll move on. Report from the supervisor. Good evening, everybody. The town and both villages are again planning a poutine challenge month. August will be designated as poutine month. There will be passports available at our offices that you bring with you to be stamped when you visit the participating restaurants. Poutine challenge will be August 1st through August 31st. T-shirts will be awarded to participants who visit at least 4 out of 7 restaurants. Each visit must be validated by the restaurant. Participating restaurants are Board of View Grocery, Sandy's Deli, North Country Golf Course Grill, Gino's Pizza, Best Friends Diner, Champlain Truck Stop, which is Champlain Peterbilt, and Frenchie's, which is new in Rouse's Point. There'll be farmers market coupons available July 14th between the hours of 10:30 to noon here at the town offices. This program is for our seniors. Please check out our Facebook page or call the office for further details. The highway department has been busy paving, and the roads look and ride great. Thank you to Alan and the crew for your dedication to keeping our roads in great condition. They will be dressing the shoulders of these roads in the coming weeks, therefore, please slow down, move over, Use caution for the safety of the men working and your safety. We apologize for any inconveniences that is a result of this necessary road work. Our Northern Tier Cougar Disc Golf Course is ready for play. Through the summer months, it is open any time of day, so please enjoy. It starts in a school property behind the soccer field and continues into Bob Venn Park. You must have your own disc to play, however. Mid-year report on projects. Our marketing team and our technology firm, Or Better Group, BBG, has been busy developing our new marketing website to showcase our town and villages. This is currently weeks away from going live. Stay tuned and watch our Facebook page for the announcement. We will then have a full public press release in August, which will reach out to all of our region. The Ridge Road Water Booster Station upgrades, construction has started last week. Looking forward to that being completed. There's still some equipment that is due to arrive soon. Bois Road Sewer Lift Station upgrades, mostly completed, except a couple of back-ordered parts. So there's one more day's worth of work on that. Our Route 11 new sewer district number 7, we're currently completing a construction-ready phase. This is required to put this project in a positive ranking for state funding. Revision to our comprehensive plan. We've been awarded a grant to complete this and are currently awaiting the final approvals from Empire State Development to allow our engineering firm to begin work. Miramar Properties. The 19 acres with the mall. Awaiting announcement from ESD for the grant to remove the buildings. I am being told it can be expected in a couple of weeks, so we're keeping our fingers crossed on this one because it is critical to our plans for this property. The 22 acres submitted for housing, which is on the Miramar property as well. This property was evaluated during the Lake Champlain Regional Planning Study and was chosen for housing development. I requested a proposal from Camoin Associates to conduct a feasibility study. With that said, we need to find funding for this step. Therefore, I met with the county IDA for assistance, and we are investigating the possibility of the IDA funding a comprehensive feasibility on this property and others within the county. Shared services. The county shared services meeting was postponed, which I was supposed to report on. The rescheduled date is to be determined, and we do have 2 proposals to bring to the meeting. One is shared personnel for water and wastewater, and the other is for an equipment purchase. I will update in the near future on this endeavor. Now for public announcements. The Village of Rouse's Point's next summer concert in the Samuel D. Champlain Park in Rouse's Point begins July 13th. And the Village of Champlain Summer Concert Series in the Bill Earl Park begins on July 23rd. Please visit the Town of Champlain's Facebook page or either of the 3 websites for further details on the upcoming concerts. We still have mosquito dump kits available. Please come in if you would like some to help control the mosquito season. We certainly have a lot of standing water these days. And the town would like to appoint more alternates to the Zoning Board of Appeals and the Planning Board. Please consider serving the town in this capacity, as we need talented citizens of this township to become involved and assist us in moving forward. And thank you to all of our veterans and active military men and women for your service. And thank you to all our first responders, both paid and volunteer, of our EMS and fire departments for your dedication to your community. Thank you. Okay, report from the council members. Councilperson Rochester.
I do not have anything to report on, other than I'm glad to see that people are speaking up and saying when there's a problem with their road and the traffic issue, or maybe not a traffic issue, but more of a exceeding the speed limit on a stretch that could endanger people.
Yes, I know what you're talking about,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yes,
We're
so I'm
working
glad
on
to,
it.
because it's something that has to be brought to our attention in order for us to do anything about it. So, it's good.
Very good, thank you. Councilmember Bory.
Sure, I'll start with zoning board of appeals. Just based on the minutes, it was not at the meeting. It will be at the one next week, but it looks like there was a public hearing held, Julie, is that correct? Correct me if I'm wrong. The public hearing was held. Looks like that went through. What was that the public hearing went through?
I wasn't zoning, but I don't remember.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think so. It looked like it
That
was
was
set
for
to go
some-
forward,
Yes,
yeah.
that was for a different thing.
Yeah, then there was another application that there was nobody here, so it was tabled till the next time. And then there is another public hearing scheduled for July 20th at 5:30 right here at the town office. That's gonna be for, is it for Maple Fields Valley?
Yeah,
it's-
Morrow Valley.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the solar.
Yes, and the solar project, that's correct. So, that's at 5:30 at, at 5:30 right here at the town office at July 20th. So moving on to marketing, the supervisor mentioned the website. All of the council members, staff here at the town office, we've all been reviewing the rough draft of the website to make sure that it's ready for its, I think we're calling it a soft launch. And then we're gonna have a much bigger to-do in August. We have a meeting scheduled actually for tomorrow, is that correct?
1 o'clock.
Yeah, so, to kind of try to, finalize some of those things, so, and the website's looking good, and, I think once the community gets to see it, I think they'll be very impressed with, what it's gonna offer. It's gonna open the door to, really what an amazing place it is to live here. So, let's see here, supervisor and I met about a few other things with marketing on July 5th. I'm meeting with Paul on Monday to finalize a script and everything, so make sure we have all of that stuff ready for the website. We're still on target to be done by the end of the month for all of our wrap-up projects. Let's see, on June 20th, we held the Hometown Heroes ceremony here at the town office. It was great, the committee hosted it here, as well as we had the Champlain VFW present here, Montgomery Post 912, and of course those people who were invited, in the banner individuals, people on the banners, as well as their family members. And it was great, and that you can check out the ceremony. Calvin Castine did record it, and it is available on Hometown Cable's YouTube page. So check that out. It was really nice. A lot of thanks to Sarah Gagno for helping us organize all of that, and the committee members. And to anybody that's looking to become an owner of a Hometown Heroes banner, you can contact Sarah here at the town office. There's also going to be available information link on our new website, very easy to connect with all of that for Hometown Heroes. The next food truck night here is July 19th. It's going to be 4 to 6:30. We have the Food Dudes. There's one of the newer food trucks on the street, on the strip, on the curb. So they're going to be here in the parking lot, like we've had all of our other food trucks, and that's on July 19th, and 4 to 6:30. So check that out. I heard a lot of good things when they were at Chevrolet, so good stuff. And one final note here, Rouse's Point Stars and Stripes on the Lake Independence Day Celebration Committee wants to extend a huge thank you to the town for their continued support of the efforts, as well as to the village of Rouse's Point for all of their support from the administrative levels all the way to the hard-working individuals on the staff, in the lighting, and water and sewer, and building and grounds, and everything that goes on to make the village operate on a daily basis. All the employees, a huge thank you. And to everybody that came out and supported, thanks to Supervisor Trombley, for being one of the judges for the parade. Even though the weather was not necessarily in our favor on Saturday, we managed to still have a well-attended celebration. So thank you very much from them. All right, so ends the report.
Thank you very much, Mr. Borey. Councilmember Hunter.
Let's see, let's start off with the farmer's market in Rouse's Point. Of course, is on Fridays from 3 to 6. The reason I'm stating this is that if there's interested vendors out there that are looking to possibly partake, you can contact Ann Paulson at 518-297-6242. Also, inside the village of Rouse's Point, they'll be holding a Youth Bureau Fun Run on July 18th at 1 o'clock. There will be quarter-mile, half-mile, and 1-mile distances that will be included. The Rouse's Point Fire Department would like to thank everybody that attended their annual barbecue. It was very successful as usual. They sold out within about an hour and 45 minutes. So that was wonderful news. Champlain Fire Department has been quite busy with a number of storm and flood related calls, of course, over the last week or so, 2 weeks. And of course, the Dubois Road Bridge is out until further notice, so please be aware of that. Also inside the village of Rouse's Point, there is a public notice to boil water on the following streets: Lake Street north of Chapman Street, Washington Street to Maple Street, State Street to Maple Street, Montgomery to Rose Avenue, Pratt Street to Maple, and Beverly Drive. So until you are notified, please continue to boil water accordingly. So, as far as the EDU listing reports, the committee will be meeting on July 20th at 1 o'clock to go through the listing and kind of make any necessary annual amendments so that we can provide that information to the water board. So ends my report.
Thank you very much, Mr. Hunter.
You're welcome.
Councilmember Moore.
An announcement that the Town of Champlain swim program is beginning to start at the end of this month. We're still looking for children that would like to be in the swim program. It's at Shazy School this year, and you have to provide your own transportation because they're working on the pool at NCCS. For forms and waivers, contact Charlene Sample at all lowercase rec, R-E-C, D-E-P-T, at townofchamplain.com as soon as possible. If you have any questions, use that same email address. And there's 2 sessions. One starts the end of July and one is in the beginning of August. So anybody it's a free swim program. It would be really great to have as many kids as possible. And it's for K through 5 for this past school year. So K through 5, any children, it's free of charge. All you have to do is bring your child, after you sign up, bring your child to the Shazy School District. And for further information, you can go to the email site. And any questions, you can call the town office. And also, Clinton County Youth Bureau is looking for referees for the 2023 soccer season. If you know anyone who's interested, call or email today. The email is Nicholas, capital Nicholas .ARNOLD at clintoncounty.newyork.gov, and the number is 518-565-4774. And they're looking for people to attend. You attend with just one class, and depending on the league that you would referee, there are pay rates from $22 to $24 to even $30 per game. And you just have to take one training session in August. They have them. So The number again is 518-565-4774, and the name is Nicholas Arnold, and that's for referees for the summer program, soccer program. And also, I'd like to give a shout out, and I'm sure the board is too, to Charlene Sample for everything she does to keep these youth bureau programs running. There's
It's a lot of work, it's a lot of work, yes. Thank you very much, Charlene. Great job.
She's one of many, but, you know, just a shout out that she's running these programs, and so far so good.
Is there any word on, they were supposed to do a pickleball clinic that had gotten canceled due to the weather? Has that been rescheduled? Has anybody heard? Okay.
No, it has not. Not as far as we know. Due to the weather, it has not been rescheduled.
Okay, thanks.
Is that all, Councilman Moore?
Nope, that's it, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Report from the town clerk?
You have my monthly report, that needs approval.
I make a motion that we approve the town clerk for their monthly report, and building permits are up a lot, so.
Good time of year, huh?
I'll second the motion.
Thank you, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Also, make everybody aware that the town of Champlain will have their townwide yard sale on August 19th. So if anybody wants to get on the map, to give us a call at the town office.
Thank
Yeah, thanks for that reminder.
you. Yeah, that wasn't on my list either.
No, I missed that. Thanks, Julie. Good job. And,
Oh,
okay.
I'm sorry, one thing, can we just clarify? So when we say town-wide, that includes both of the villages. So if you're in the village of Rouse's Point, the village of Champlain, or just out in the township, anybody can be on this map for the town-wide sale.
Thanks for that clarification. Anything else?
No.
Okay, review of the post audit bills. Copies or any questions on the abstract? Okay, if not, we'll move to the approval of the monthly bills. And we do have some additionals to go with it, but, just to get discussion, I'll make a motion to approve as presented. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you.
With discussion on
Yep.
the invoice that's on hold. That is in regards to,
That
It's
is,
It's an oil pan that Alan bought,
okay,
but it was the wrong part, so he
Okay.
took it back.
okay.
So we are
Is that the
waiting.
$2,100?
Yes.
Okay,
So we didn't wanna pay it and know
Yep.
that there's a credit coming.
okay. Thank you.
Makes sense.
yeah, so it's on hold until we get our refund on that,
Okay.
or get our, refund the bill. So is there any other questions in regards to the bill list itself?
No, not for me. Actually, there is one question that I have. I noticed on page 3, and I don't know if there's bills or the abstract, but the visas, that particular card that we use, do we get any cash back on that?
No, that is our bank card.
That is our bank card, okay. Is that something that maybe we should evaluate with some of the
Well, this-
purchases that we make? I'm just wondering.
We can. I
Yeah,
mean,
in
if-
this case, it was done because it was necessary. Because
Right.
I was,
No, he's asking for cash back.
I'm asking for like a cash back.
Like a
because of
discount.
it. Correct.
On that card, we do not, on Alan's card, we do not either. It's through the
Okay.
bank and that's it. I mean, we can look around if that's, for different discounts.
Yeah, I mean, I can't see why we can't evaluate the discounts. I mean, it's money back in the,
Offers, yeah.
publics. That's right, correct.
it's true, we can look into that. But you understand why that was paid in
I
that
do,
fashion?
I do,
Okay.
yeah,
That's what I
I
thought
do.
you were asking.
So,
Okay.
other than
So-
that, that's all I had, thank you.
The motion to approve, I guess, should be amended to reflect the total. So with the total, with the additionals and the hold the negative on the Doyle pan, it's a total of $342,491.72.
That's correct.
So I guess we're ready for roll call.
Councilmember Rochester,
Aye.
Councilmember Bory,
Aye.
Councilmember Moore,
Aye.
Councilmember Hunter,
Aye.
Supervisor Trombley.
Aye, thank you. So, that brings us to report from codes officer. And
I believe you have my report.
we have your report, yeah.
Okay.
I have a question.
If you have any questions, you can.
Can you tell us a little bit about this new permitting software that is being evaluated possibly?
Yeah, if you want me to do that now. Okay, do you want me to come up there and work the computer, or?
Yep.
Okay.
Um,
You can do it from here. So this process started
it's on. What is this?
in probably early May. Constantly I get emails and phone calls from different permitting software. Usually I just ignore it. This one was a little different when they talked to me.
Okay.
So basically, right now, we use what's called BAS, IPS. My personal opinion of the system is it's horrendous. It doesn't work. Not for the town, at least. Maybe a larger city it does. There's two aspects to it. You have the permitting side, where I issue building permits out. You have the violation side for, state codes, local codes. With BAS, IPS right now, we are unable to use it for violations. All of our violations are handwritten letters. They're then filed. There's no record of it, no electronic records of it. Permitting software, it's okay. It doesn't update regularly with the county. You have to call them to do it. It usually takes quite a while to get any sort of updates. Like our system right now, I've been trying to get my name on for 3 years now. It's still, Julie's on it, Mickey's on it. Anything under their names, if I add anything to it, it locks the system and I can no longer access that permit. So it's a system that might be better served in a larger community where they have more people on to input different aspects of it because they don't upload anything. So this company, GovWell, reached out to me. They're brand new. It's two software developers, one who was in the trades, was used to permitting. They got together and said, hey, we need something better for smaller communities. So with GovWell, what drew me to it is this is not a run-of-the-mill permitting software. It is fully customized to our town. So if we did this, no other town, city is gonna have the same system that we do. They literally sit down with myself or the town board or the zoning and planning, they go through everything we need in the system and they fully build it to our specifications. Again, it being brand new right now, they're suggesting to do a 6-month pilot of the violation aspect, not the building permit section, because there's so much work to put into building the building permit side of it. Right now, they want to pilot with the violation side. So as you can see, June 29th, I had a webinar with these guys. They came up with this. It's not fully clickable. I can't show you a ton of stuff, but this is what it should look like if we decide to do this. This is just about who they are. They're New York based. They're trying to get towns with under 25,000 people. That's what they tailor these systems to. So we're not going to be on the system that New York City uses, anything like that. It's smaller, customizable to what we need. So these are the owners. I've been in contact quite a bit with Troy. Ben is actually the software developer, and I'm not completely good with technology, but he was changing stuff within seconds of saying this needs to be changed during the demo they gave me. These two guys, I have both of their cell phone numbers. They answer the phone every time I call, and that's one of their big things is that if we need support from them, it's a cell phone call to their cell phone, and they fix it. It's not a help ticket to some help desk that then gets looked at by 4 different departments until we get something back. They answer their phone, they fix it right there, or tell us when it's gonna be fixed. It's just about their process, talks about, they're gonna listen to us, which they did. I told them what our needs were, and they developed this. Again, we're not going to implementation right now, but again, their support is just, we call them 24/7, they're gonna pick up. Alright, so we went over some of the challenges with our current BAS IPS. The one big thing is there's no online portal for submitting complaints, which I never really thought about. I get constant voicemails or texts or emails, and then I have to then create a complaint in a Word document, send a letter that's handwritten or typed out, and then to track that, I have to go back through every year's complaints to see if there's been prior complaints, which leads to repetitiveness and consuming my time because I'm handwriting notices over and over and over again. The reports that we get every month, how you see them, I'm giving you just kind of a quick rundown of this violation. This system that they're proposing, if I click generate report for violations, you'll get every violation that was given that month. Location, outcome, timeline, my notes on it, you'll see the entire thing. And that can be accessed by any person that has access to the system, which is as many people as we want. So what they're proposing is a 6-month paid pilot with us, like I said, for just the violation section, with hopes to go with them next fiscal year as our main permitting software company. So with them, they'll put a portal on our new website, submit a complaint, citizen clicks it, they type in the information on the complaint, I immediately get a text message and an email. They then get one saying I received it. Once I open it, it'll kind of look like this. You know, say the violation number, the address, what it is, the type. These types are all customizable depending on what we want. So if it's trash, we'll have one for trash. If it's junk, we'll have one for junk. We can put in all of our violations. Well, I shouldn't say we. They'll put in every violation that we have. My name, because I'm the inspector, so when I do an inspection and schedule it, whoever submitted that complaint will then get an email back saying, I inspected the property, they'll get my notes on it of what happened, and then once it's closed out in the end, they'll then get another email saying this has been taken care of, this is how, or it's pending for court or whatnot. So no more having calls constantly asking what's going on with something. They'll know the second I do it. The other thing on here is this system will generate letters for us and notices of violation. We simply click violation, it'll pull up a letter saying this is your first violation of this code. I will be writing all that and simply give it to them. They'll input it in, so we'll have all the code language that we need to write in there. I also have a section for notes if I want to write, your grass is too long, you have junk in your front yard. That'll be laid out, but it's as simply as clicking the mailer, send it to the printer, and no more handwriting. So, and then you have uniformity across all our violations too. So every violation will say the same thing to each person. Let's see. Review a process of code complaints. All the inspections, we can log every single inspection and add photos to it, which again, the board can see if they pull up on a meeting night. You'll be able to see everything. I can create notes. The good thing about this is there's never, whatever drop-down menu they have, it's not just what they have. There's always a fillable section, so that I can then input stuff, which BAS doesn't have. So if an address doesn't exist in BAS, I can't put anything. This, I can handwrite a new address in, a new tax ID number that is new, that isn't in the system yet. You can't do that with BAS. So with their pricing, so they want to do $2,500 for 6 months of the violation. I talked to Troy today before I came here. They brought this down to $2,000 for a 6-month pilot. Fully guaranteed, if we don't like it, it's money back to us, it comes back to us. If we decide to use them next fiscal year, that $2,000 we paid will be credited towards our first year. It is going to be more expensive than what we have right now. So currently with BAS, IPS, we pay $2,036 a year for their service on my tablet and the computer. This year we paid an extra $1,250 to actually get the program on the tablet. There's none of that with this, their price is all inclusive, it's computer, cell phone, tablet. So if we ever have to put, I don't know, Sarah, if we put that on another tablet, or if the tablet dies and we put it back on, do we have to pay that one charge with BAS again?
I'm thinking yes.
Yeah.
If
so-
they set it back up.
Right, so with theirs, the price is the price. If we get 5 tablets and we put it on, there's no extra. If we get 5 computers, it's on, 5 cell phones, it's all the same. Again, this price though, 2,000, not 2,500, is only for the violation side right now, not the permitting. They don't know what the price would be. They might, they just didn't tell me.
Are they going to continue developing that site?
They are.
Okay, so at some point they will come back to us with a quote of adding that, I take it?
If we decide to go forward, so like he explained today, if we decide to go on the permitting side, there's gonna be multiple hours of sitting down with me for what we need, and then hundreds of hours on their end developing it. So it'll be 100% what we want. It's not what some company just gives us, and we deal with it. It's, if we don't like something, they change it.
But in comparison to the current system that we have, you're doing a lot of paper searching for things where this would be very easily traceable, electronically findable.
Correct.
And that's a big time saver.
It is. Even with getting the BAS on my tablet, it's nice because I can go out places and pull up the permit, and I can see it, but I can't actually do much in it.
Right.
You know, I can say that it's completed, I can make a note in an inspection, but if there's a violation, I have to take a photo of it, I have to come back here,
Right.
upload the photo to email, handwrite a notice, put it in a folder, and then track it that way.
Is this just by design of their software that you can't
I think it's just
utilize it?
very outdated software. The violation side of BAS is not auto-populated. Someone would have to go in and sit down with the code book and put in every single code, word for word. And I've tried doing it on a couple, and it's just not even feasible. The ones that are in there, making you put a couple, you can't get rid of them. So, some local laws that changed or something, you can't get rid of it now, so it's just in there. So if we had a trash, you know, update with the noise, say the noise changes in a year, we have to create a second one, and then make sure that we pick the right noise ordinance on the current system. You can't get rid of the old one. This one, it would just be delete it, they would then input it for us.
And our current tablet and mobile device, we don't have to make any upgrades or any new purchases to kind of,
No, not according to them, it's mostly, the way they developed this is for a tablet.
okay.
It'll work on a computer, but it's made to work in the truck. Which is where I should be spending most of my time.
The current system that we use, is that what many towns use across New York State?
I honestly don't know. I know it's what I use here, we use it in Chazy, and Rouse's Point uses it.
Okay.
I have the same issues in Chazy. So I would expect Chazy to follow suit with whatever the town decides to do. The village is on paper still. Everything's on paper, there is no software. I'm trying to change that. Tom and I talked about it today, that maybe we can get them on board with this as well, and just make town permits instead of town and village permits. Something to think about down the road. So like I said, they're gonna develop and configure everything for us, no matter whatever we want. We're not getting a, you know, blanket software program. They'll train us on it. They already said they would do training with anybody that wants to be on it, do a webinar with us. Unlimited user licenses, so you could all have access to it if you really wanted. You can pull it up at home, see what's happening. Somebody calls you or emails you with a complaint, you can pull up and see if that complaint has come to me yet. They're gonna upgrade it themselves, we don't have to do anything. If an update happens GIS, they're gonna load it for us. Any issues they'll maintain. And then the big one is the support. Like I said, I've called them numerous times already, they answer right off, and fix stuff right off.
Have they got any other towns live with this yet?
They have other towns starting to go towards a pilot again. So we would be the first town on this system, which I think is kind of a good thing, because all their attention is on us building it. They're working with, I want to say a couple of Texas right now, we're trying to change. Nassau County, smaller towns outside Nassau County. But, you know, if you put this on the new website, I don't know if Rouse's Point follows suit. I know I've talked to John a couple times. He doesn't like the system either, but it's what we have right now. So we would be the first, the town of Champlain would be the first on this new system. Like I said, any issues they'd work out, but we would have their undivided attention for now.
So this cost is for the 6 months is specifically for the town of Champlain, which would include the villages, both villages, correct? Or is it strictly for,
It would depend how we wanted to do that. We
Okay.
easily could, if the village says, you know, let's do your violations under the town for the next 6 months.
right,
It'd be, I would
just to
love
pilot it, see
Yeah,
how it
I would
goes?
like to do it. It'd be much easier.
Does the penalties must be different, does that come into play at all, or does that not matter with this?
I mean, it would, but usually from the letters they get, the penalties aren't in anything. The codes would be different, but they're still gonna upload those codes. The penalties will be on me when I write a ticket. This just won't write us tickets, because it has to be a New York State appearance ticket. So this won't do that. So the only paper I'd have to do is a ticket, which shows what the fine would be. And then, if you wanna put fines in the violation letters, you simply would handwrite in whatever it is. It's not auto-populated. The rest is, but that section would go in the notes. So what they wanted is, you know, this was their timeline, obviously it's not, this isn't gonna work. So we're already in July now. All right, so when people go to submit a complaint on the website, this is what they're gonna see under code enforcement. They click submit a complaint, my information's there if they need me immediately, but they would hit submit a complaint. And I'll be notified email or phone immediately. So again, this is the drop-down menu, so they can just drop down, you know, what is your complaint? And we can fill this in. You know, whatever they have there, we'll change it. So we can put in trash, noise, junk, even barking dogs if you wanted to, just to track it, and then can be forwarded to Jody. So we can change this around. The citizen just clicks on which one it is. Reported by, they can put their name and contact info, or they can stay anonymous. It's up to them. There's 2 buttons for it. They can give comments on what the complaint is. You know, this one says my next door neighbor's house looks like it's about to fall apart. They can write whatever they want, and it'll give me a report by date in case I don't open it, you know, on a Saturday or something. This is what I would see when I open it. And like I said, as soon as I click schedule an inspection, if I go out somewhere that day, I hit schedule inspection on the tablet. That person then gets an email that says, I'm there. I add a comment, that person will get an email saying what the comment is, so that they'll know the whole way that's being taken care of.
That's nice. Love that.
Yeah, so no more of these people that will make a complaint that may or may not have been said to me, and then come back and say, hey, it's 3 months later, nothing happened with this. We'll be able to track it and see, well, number 1, there was no complaint, or number 2, yes, you got an email saying, I was there, and it's not a complaint because you were wrong on the code, or something along those lines. Or it was, and it's been fixed. Schedule inspection, it's just a click. So this is what it would look like on my end, or if you opened it anywhere, this is what you'll see. Violation number for tracking, address, the status. If I scheduled inspection and I didn't do it, it's overdue. I got 2 dues, completed. Again, that's all whatever we want it to be. The type, we can change all that. I'll always be the owner, and then you'll be able to click and view my action of what I did right here. If someone brings up a complaint during a board meeting, you could open it up and see where it's at without having to guess from my report. These are the notices, so again, click of a button, this will all auto-populate. Everything in green should auto-populate, this won't. The comments from me, I will be handwriting that section. Everything else we wanted to say, this whole section will be what I send them to say, and it can be based off each violation. That can be sent straight to the printer from the mobile device or from email, print it and send it. So this is the reports, so I can create a monthly report for the board. This is what you'll get. We can do it on paper, I can print it off and you'll just see, you know, there was a complaint for property maintenance. Or I can open it here and you can see every single one and follow it through. So much easier to generate reports, and what they said is if we do go forward and do the building permit side of it, this will be the same for building permits. You'll get a report that shows all monthly building permits or yearly. You can open them, see the status of them, when they were inspected, what's going on with them, were they completed, things along those lines.
So are the reports customizable? So in
Yes.
other words, for example, let's say you're talking trash, all the trash will be together, so you
Yes.
don't sit there and go through a whole report and have them 50 different locations. Okay.
No, and the one thing I wanted was if I get a complaint to 123 Main Street,
Yep,
and I wanna know if there was complaints there before, as soon as I type in 123 Main Street and create a new one,
Yep.
it will then auto-populate all the old ones
okay.
immediately.
I like it.
So again, they will,
Time saver.
yes, yeah, right now we have to search through all the parcel ID folders to see if there's anything in there.
Right.
So a lot of times there's not. And again, it's all, everything you see on these screens is 100% customizable for us. We can change anything. Nothing is boilerplated. And that is it.
Looks like it's efficiency.
It is.
That's what it sounds like
So
to me.
when we're more efficient, you should be more productive. You can probably do your job better by having access to a better database
Yeah.
and system that will cut down some of the.
Well, now, some of those things that you
Search
do on
and-
a Monday, Tuesday is getting done on the previous Thursday, so.
Well, honestly, that's the tough part, is being here in the town on Mondays and Fridays. If I get a complaint via email on Tuesday,
Right.
come Friday, I might forget I even had it. Here, everything's gonna be, all I have to do is pull up the complaint section, because I already got an email on it. It's all right here.
So you can react faster too.
Yeah, I shouldn't be spending, 7 hours a day in the office doing
Right.
handwritten letters. Like just this week, I sent out 25 letters to people for expired permits. On their permitting side of it, all I would have to do is create a letter, print them off, throw it in an envelope and send it. There's no more typing. Because 2 days here is not a lot to get what needs to be done in the town done, especially doing water, issues we're having right now with that. I spend half my time on that. So it's a lot quicker. I know the price is higher, but I think we're getting a lot more for what we're paying, or what we would be paying.
They seem like they've got a background, I think it was like 12 years, but do they have anything like for other municipal modules, let's call them, for example, like zoning or planning or some of these other things? I'm just
I was wondering
thinking out loud.
how brand new they are, basically. Have you done anything else besides this?
Not in terms of this, no. This is something they've developed software for other companies.
Right.
And because the one guy, Ben, who's their software developer, his father was a contractor, so he used to pull permits for them.
Okay.
He saw the need for something that's customizable for smaller towns. It's the only one that I've seen and gotten notices for that's customizable. All the other ones, if you subscribe to it, you're doing a blanket program. Which is kind of why this one caught my eye, because I like having control over what is on it. It'd be much easier. And they listened. I mean, all of this came from our first meeting, when I told them what our issues were and what we needed, and they developed this, and then sent me a follow-up with some other changes from what I had said in terms of this. So everything is customizable. I can fill anything in that's not listed, so it would be much better.
So what's your recommendation to do this, go ahead with this, or?
It's my recommendation that we change systems from BAS to IPS, and I am favorable to this just because of the customization.
So we'd have both of them during a 6-month period.
During the trial period.
Right, we'd still have to be issuing permits on BAS.
Correct.
We'd be doing violations on this system, but we don't do them on BAS anyway. The other one thing I liked was the submitted complaint. I have that, no one else has showed that to me. I think it's good for the community to be able to just go there and click it, and do it anonymously from their computer, and then get updates.
Are you aware of any other system that any other town is using that offers that exact?
Uh,
So like if I'm in the town of Plattsburgh, I can't go somewhere to do some digital complaint as what?
Not that I've seen on their websites.
Before.
Some of them have a complaint form, some of them have nothing to submit a complaint. I know I just recently went through all of them, we did the schedule of fees update, I was on their websites pulling their schedule of fees, and I never saw submit a complaint.
That would be my only recommendation. Can you get us a little more background as to maybe what other municipalities are using and if there's anything else out there like this? And if not, I think the only analogy that comes to mind when I'm thinking of this is getting a tailor-made suit or dress
Yeah.
versus going to the store and buying something off the rack. It sounds like there's a lot of off-the-rack options. They may not be really that great. This looks like it would be very effective because it's going to be just for us.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of like the development of our new website, the same thing, you're developing, tailoring it to the town and the villages.
Yeah, and it sounds like something that's way easier for us when we start changing any local laws or codes, or the codes are updated every 4 years, to get those changed,
All right,
than waiting for some national company to,
exactly, and we pay a
Hopefully
fee
get-
for that each time we do that, so.
Is there, yeah, is that rolled in with the price, so if there's any changes, that automatically goes along with the
yep,
subscription?
everything is, what they've said, and it's stressed to it, is everything is all
Still the
inclusive. Something needs to be
required
changed,
fee.
your price isn't gonna go up because you
And
changed
in terms
it.
of reporting, I'm wondering if we can save on it.
Maybe.
I think that in the data we'll end up having from this probably is worth.
Oh,
Mhm.
that's
It's worth-
you know what?
That's not.
Data mitigation is just everything for me with this. It's a win-win.
Could this be backed up on our server, all this data?
It would be, yeah.
Okay.
And again, you'd have access to it
Mm-hmm.
from your computer, from your tablet or cell phone even, you
Mhm.
can set up whoever.
That'd be nice.
You're also bringing up something that we're realizing we have to move into the 21st century, the digitization of everything. And it sounds like digital records and notifications and that instant gratification that most people want, that looks like this is what it does all of that.
Mhm. So while he tries to find some sort of reference for the board, would it be worth having them produce a contract so we can review that as well? See how that's worded and how the guarantee is worded? Tell them we're still investigating, but
Yeah.
I think it would save some time.
So you're recommending we take this on now in 2023?
On a pilot. 'Cause the way they explained it to me is we're not satisfied with it, our 2000 comes back and we're on the same system we're on. We go from there.
So I wanna see that in writing.
And then my only other question is, because it wasn't budgeted for, where are we financially with that? So,
Financially, with the building permits up, we do have extra funds that we
Okay.
were not expecting. So, I mean, if it's gonna save him time, you know, especially with what the building permits came in this month,
right,
we could foreseeable see it. I would have to have you guys allow me to expand that expense item,
right.
but
I just don't ever recall a monthly town clerk's report where building permits were that high in the years I've been serving in this.
Well,
That's because of the solar farm.
that's
I know,
that's
I know,
because
but
of
it's
the-
like,
Yeah, it was time for us to update that fee schedule.
yeah, no question, no question. Thank you, Chris.
Yep.
Thank you, Chris. Are there any other questions on Chris's report, or are we all set? All set with Chris?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Thank you.
Next would be
Sorry about
report from the dog control officer, you've all got a copy of that. Are there any questions there? Zoning board minutes? from the June 15th meeting. Then the EMS report for June call report. Again, 137 calls in the month of June, total for the year 791. Average response time 1.7 minutes.
Pretty amazing when you think about it.
It's extremely amazing. Extremely.
Makes me sleep better.
Yeah, well, we're lucky to have it, really the cost, but. Then you have charter communications, and this is Julie left us some additional, and kind of look those over in regards to increases that folks will see. And then you have the two complaint emails in regards to what Councilmember Rochester was referring to, for the reckless driving.
The Meridian Road, yeah.
Yeah, on Meridian Road, and,
I'm just curious what kind of response you got from your email that you sent.
a good response, and their presence has been out there.
Okay.
I've had one anonymous person that didn't want to send an email and remain anonymous, but has called a couple of times and let me know that he's seen him down there. It's one night they went down, they're down a long time, obviously having discussions,
Right.
because it was like a half hour when they came back. So far, I think it's improved, so time will tell.
Is it something that the town should entertain in terms of, and I know it's very difficult to get the DOT to kind of change the speed limit. Is that,
That can be done, I talked to Alan about it.
okay?
Of course, you know that it's a long process.
It is.
But if you feel strongly about it, then the board could then ask highway to go to the next step, which would be county, I believe. And they would put a request into state would do a study.
Okay.
We're just worried that because of the low traffic volume, they may push back, but we can still go through it. It doesn't stop us
Well,
from going
I
through.
mean,
a
there's
study.
information I don't have, like, for example, like, number of residential and commercial that's on that road. That's a question, and again, I don't want this to be an economics issue in terms of, it doesn't make sense to kind of, I just think if there's families on that road with children and
There
stuff.
is, that's why we're so
And
concerned.
so we need to, possibly look into it. Or, and I guess my other question is it only certain perps, I think is what they call them?
Yes.
Are there certain individuals that are actually speeding on this road, or are we seeing a lot of high-speed traffic
No.
that's spread
I'm not
across?
saying that.
Okay, thank you.
It's
Right.
one set of family members.
Right, okay. All right, then maybe it's not necessary. Maybe it's just a visit to the house and,
Yeah, and, hopefully, maybe if enough tickets are issued, we'll solve the problem, but
yeah.
they are working on it. I will be back in touch with the commander in a few days by email and see how he's reporting.
Right.
The last email I got from him was the status of where they were at, how they're patrolling.
Okay.
Okay, that was complaints. Then the new one here is I met with Steve Peters this week. Had a lengthy and really good discussion. I wanted to meet with him for two reasons. One was I wanted to see if I could possibly offer property from the town for his endeavor with a sports center. And of course, I knew the answer. We had emailed before. I knew that we weren't the central location he's trying to get. He's still working on Plattsburgh. But the other side of this was Steve and his LLC, Elevate 518. He's a grant writer. I think we need assistance with that. There aren't enough hours in the day for everything we've got on our agenda at this point. So what I asked him to do is put a proposal together, and this basically is his proposal. He didn't do a formal letter, he did email. I guess I'm asking the board to consider trying this for our next endeavor, where we have a need, where we're looking for funds, it would be a email to Steve to see what he could do for us. It would be per hourly rate only. If we were to go and actually apply for a grant, I would request a proposal for estimated hours of time for that, and it would have to be approved by the board. So we're not, approving spending that money at this point, but I'm asking if we can try this avenue to help assist in trying to find the funds that we need. It may even be as great as someday trying to find a developer to fill that Miramar property once it's empty. If we're fortunate enough to get the money to take it down. Any thoughts?
I guess my only question is in terms of, I know I can see his cited capabilities here, but in terms of what types of grants that he has written that he's been successful on. It's one thing to be a grant writer, it's another thing to see a percentage of successfulness as these grants are applied for. Very difficult.
Well, I know he was successful in several of the Rouse's Point, but
Okay.
I can't speak to
What
exactly
does
what
he
they were.
specialize in, like his area, his niche, like,
Oh, God, that's in here, isn't it?
um,
It's mostly, community improvement type grants, whereas compared to, as he pointed out here, when you get into large projects such as water and wastewater, it's best left to the engineers, the engineering firms, large engineering firms. I don't know, I could get some references if you'd like.
I guess I'd like to get some references in terms of grants that he's actually written for municipalities. I can tell you that I've had interaction with Steve on a first-hand basis. He's a very intelligent, wonderful man. He's done an awful lot for Adirondack Coast in terms of the recreation program. And he's even taken, once the city of Plattsburgh decided to take the Creek Center down, he made the necessary planning steps so that he could, provide some type of alternative for local youth. So I think he's a very nice person. I think he's very capable, but I just would like to see what he's done on the municipal side other than recreation.
Yeah, I can do that, and I will also, email the Village Rouse's Point to see if they can provide references, and also Melissa McManus, so I'll touch base with her too.
Thank you.
I'm sure she will comment very honestly.
I think the rate is very, very fair.
Yes, I do.
I can tell you that. I've worked with grant writers, and $75 an hour is not a lot. Not for good grant writers.
Well, I mean, I can just think of some stuff where, we're trying to find money for the outdoor fitness center, for example.
Right.
you know,
Correct.
Which
and that sounds more like his kind of a niche.
yeah, that, trying to put proposals out for builders to fill those houses at some point when we get to that, if we do get to that point, if we need additional services for that.
I can speak on your behalf. I think you mentioned to me something along the lines of, in order to do all the planning that needs to happen, that we have for our long-term vision here for the town, it's almost like you need somebody that can go and look for the right resources in order to make those things happen.
Possible.
So we're not
True,
having to pay.
because basically we're competing against larger towns that
That's
have
right.
full-time staff.
Right.
That's where this idea came from. It's a struggle to try to compete with towns that have full-time planning offices
Mhm.
and great grant writing at their fingertips. So I thought this was an affordable way to try to achieve that. as compared to asking the board to put an employee in. So I think it's worth a try. But I will get that information for you. Okay, so that brings us to new business. Revising the building permits and fee schedule. What you have in front of you now is a resolution.
Maybe we should do the resolution
This is
first.
the old copy that scared me. You wanna do it in order? We
No,
can.
even though the agenda isn't,
No, the agenda isn't.
we should do the resolution 20 first.
Okay, so we're gonna jump ahead to resolution 20, which is new business number 2.
Yep.
To adopt and allocate funds for outdoor fitness court. So this was revised from resolution 19 last month,
18, I think.
or was it 18?
I think it was 18.
You're probably right, we had another one in there too. So I, rightly so, because that one was denied, we created a new one. So resolution number 20, resolution to adopt and allocate funds for an outdoor fitness court as part of the 2023 National Fitness Campaign. At a meeting of the Town of Champlain Board held on July 11, 2023, wherein the following action was taken. Whereas the Town of Champlain has submitted a grant application to National Fitness Campaign, NFC, for participation in a 2023 initiative to install and activate outdoor fitness courts in 200 cities and schools across the country. And whereas the Town of Champlain will accept a $50,000 national grant from our NFC grant committee and statewide partners, and provide a local match in the amount of match amount approved by NFC Grants Committee to promote and implement a free to the public outdoor fitness court. And whereas the Town of Champlain will secure supplemental funding as needed through community sponsors, which will be made available and committed to this program for the purchase of the outdoor fitness court. And whereas the Town of Champlain's principal goal is to commit to construction and launch of the outdoor fitness court by the end of 2023 calendar year. However, the Town of Champlain acknowledges that if the required amount of funds is not raised for the 2023 goal, the alternative goal will be to launch in 2024. And whereas the Town of Champlain Town Board believes the outdoor fitness court is an important wellness ecosystem that supports healthier communities, commits to funding, fundraising to participate in NFC's 2023 campaign, and will earn local and national recognition as a leader in providing affordable health and wellness. Now therefore be it resolved that the Town of Champlain Town Board will collaborate with NFC to implement the outdoor fitness court and make fitness free to community residents and visitors. Motion to approve said resolution as written.
I make a motion that we approve resolution number 20 as read.
Seconded by?
I'll second that.
And it requires a roll call vote in addition to that.
Councilmember Rochester,
Aye.
Councilmember Bory,
Aye.
Councilmember Moore,
Aye.
Councilmember Hunter,
Aye.
Supervisor Trombley.
Aye. Thank you very much. I'll just, I'll leave that back so I can scan it and send it to them. So that brings us back to Resolution 21. Resolution 21, Town of Champlain revision to building permit fees and schedule of 2023. Whereas the Town of Champlain Town Board, identified the need to revise the building permit fees and schedule under Resolution number 17, approved June 13, 2023. And whereas a typographical error was identified in the fee schedule for solar, which was defined at a cost of 20 cents per square foot for solar panels, and whereas the town board is correcting that fee to 10 cents per square foot of solar panels as originally intended by resolution to meet the needs of the codes department. And therefore be it resolved, the town board of the town of Champlain does hereby approve this revision to the building permit fees and schedule dated July 11th, 2023.
So this is an addendum to resolution number 17 that we read at last month's meeting, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
The only thing that's been revised is Chris noticed that we had an error.
Okay.
A typo,
Yep.
basically, with solar. It should have been 10, it was 20, and the 10 is sufficient, believe me. Puts us in a mid-range of other communities. So I make a motion to approve the said resolution as written. Since we're changing dollars, why don't we do a roll call as well, a second and a roll call. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you.
Councilmember Rochester,
Aye.
Councilmember Bory,
Aye.
Councilmember Moore,
Aye.
Councilmember Hunter,
Aye.
Supervisor Trombley.
Aye. Thank you. That carries. Here's a copy. Okay. It was my error on number 3, which was resolution 22, will now be resolution 21, will now be 22. It was intended for the July 19th meeting. I had it 95% prepared and found out by email that it's not required for tonight.
Okay.
So I was ahead of the game a little bit.
Oh, good.
Yeah, that's a good thing. So that'll be at the special meeting. And then the revision to the dog law to include fines and fee schedule. I didn't provide a copy of that to you, I hope you have your copies, but there is a section 10, which is the penalties section.
I have no copies. I have not received anything.
Well, it's the one that you originally wrote.
Right, but I'm talking about the changes that have been made.
We didn't make changes. It wasn't necessary, is what I'm trying to say. I'm taking it off the agenda.
Okay.
So
Very good.
what happened was, there was a citation in front of Justice Phillips.
Okay.
He couldn't find a fee schedule, went to Kevin, Kevin
Yep.
came to me, we all missed it because
Okay.
it.
In section 7.
Yeah,
Correct.
the previous section for disposal of feces,
Section 5?
that was formatted differently, so
Right.
we kind of missed the other sections below that.
Gotcha.
It's in there.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, it's in there. It's $25 first offense.
Correct.
$50 second, and $75 thereafter. So I reviewed that with Kevin once I realized that and found it,
Okay.
when I was going to make a revision.
Okay.
And he's good with it.
Okay.
We're fine. So that was good. That was an easy one. So that brings us to approval of the IT contract with Layer 8. I'll be looking for a motion to accept this agreement, move forward.
I make a motion that we approve the layer 8 quote, number 0000351, in the amount of total NRC $900, total MRC $397.50.
Second.
I'll second that.
Thank you. Mr. Moore, do we have any discussion on this
So
contract?
Sarah, you completely reviewed this and this meets the scope of what we need.
Yes.
Good.
Okay. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Rochester,
Aye.
Councilmember Bory,
Aye.
Councilmember Hunter,
Aye.
Councilmember Moore,
Aye.
Supervisor Trombley.
Aye. Thank you. We'll just cover old business, and then we'll need to request an executive session. Under old business, the water code amendment, that is something we gotta get after. It's been on that table for a while, so we need to try to,
Can we set a date maybe after tonight's meeting?
yeah,
Can I move forward with that then, please, so we can put that to,
August meeting maybe.
Or September, I mean, I know it's
Okay.
summertime and we're all busy, Rick, I'm assuming you're probably going on vacation sometime in August?
soccer starts.
So,
That is my vacation.
there you go. So, yeah, we do,
Fun
let's sit down with our
starts.
calendars and try to put together at least one meeting.
Okay.
You know, we can always reschedule the second one afterwards, we gotta work that out. Credit card policy, we haven't done anything with that yet either,
I agree.
so that's something else we need to really, that's why it's on here, otherwise
Right.
we lose it off the radar.
And I've been through the employee handbook, but I don't know where everybody else is on that. But it seems very comprehensive
Mhm.
in regards to other municipalities and their employee handbooks. I didn't see anything that jumped out, but it's a lengthy read, 100 pages.
So Sarah and I have a short list of questions for Mr. Travers.
Yes.
And some are revisions we'd like to see. And he was on vacation for a week or so and he hasn't gotten back to us yet. We were hoping to have that scheduled before this meeting, but we're hoping to have a final draft.
Right.
next week for this.
The only thing I don't see in there are necessary, like, some municipalities actually have specific forms, and we don't have any forms in ours. There's not any identified forms in relationship to, like, procedures and things like that, but.
We'll look at that, I don't know. See if there's a.
Just a thought.
Requirement.
Because that way the employees know what the forms look like, and so, I think I've taken a photo of. Yeah, some of the municipalities have specific forms, so. just a thought.
Okay. Okay, since we're full business, I'd like to make a motion to leave the regular meeting and, or pause it, I should say, and enter an executive session for a personnel matter.
I make a motion that we leave a regular session and proceed into executive session at this time.
You have mine, right? Second. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, it's 5 minutes.
Ready?
Yes. Thank you. So the motion to leave the executive session and enter back into regular business is made by Councilmember Hunter and seconded by Mr. Borey. All in favor?
All right.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, that carries. There was no action taken, more investigative work to be done. Now, I'd make a motion for adjournment.
I'll
Oh,
make
no, I
a-
don't want to be classified.
I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
That is too funny. That was good, yeah. Oh, too funny.
My lips are sealed.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, everybody.